Hey guys, Pete with Crunch Time Coaching. Today we've got a great topic. It's how to win in the wind. I was talking to one of our new members of Mixology, and she was saying, I had a tough day the other day playing in the wind. I hate to play in the wind. And naturally, most people are going to hate to play in the wind because it's tough to play well in the wind. It's tough to really feel like you're on fire and your strokes are in the zone and you look real pretty. So guess what the first tip I'm going to give you is, don't worry about all that. It might not be your best day as far as how you feel out there, but remember, your opponent is feeling the same thing. If it's a windy day, they also notice it's a windy day and they feel a little yucky, and the tennis feels a little yucky. And so my first tip is to embrace that. Tennis is a game of challenges. It's something that we never really feel that we fully master, and we have a love-hate relationship with that sometimes, but I think that's ultimately what keeps us coming back is the challenge. So the quicker we can learn to embrace the challenge of playing in the wind and realize that one of the challenges is it's tough to really feel like you're in the zone, that you are hitting every ball clean and you're pinpointing the accuracy of your shots. And that is okay. So give yourself the freedom to go, all right, today it might be a little ugly. I might not feel great out there. And that's my tip number one, because if you can do that and your opponent is over there trying to figure out how that they're going to feel so great hitting the ball, and they're frustrated that they're not hitting the ball cleanly and they feel a little bit off balance and their shots are hard to control, if that's frustrating them and you're embracing that and enjoying the challenge of trying to figure out how you can play your best in the wind for that day, you're going to have a huge advantage. The next tip I want to give you is, and this should be for every time you go play any match, but especially in the wind, you've got to keep those feet moving. You got to keep those feet moving, and you really got to work on the timing of your split step so you can react to the ball. So as your opponent is getting ready to come forward into the ball, that's when you want to split step. And so this is going to help you get a nice first move to the ball to see where it's going to go. And then you want your feet moving right up until the last second until it's time to hit, because in the wind, that ball can take a last minute dive here, it can move here, it can go up, it can go down. The ball can do lots of funny things in the wind at the end. So if you're standing there flat-footed, you're going to miss so many shots in the wind. All right, so make sure you're really moving your feet even more than you normally do, and move them to the last possible second. Be ready for a last second move that the wind might do to the ball. Be ready for that. Don't let that get you angry. Realize that that's part of the challenge. All right, the next thing I want you to focus on is, how is the wind moving that day? Is it moving like this with the wind at my back here? And if it is, I've got to be careful, because what's going to happen if the wind's coming at me this way? What's going to happen when I go to hit? Well, yeah, that ball, if I'm not aware of it, could be sailing out, okay? I saw Eugene Bouchard. She actually said that she played a match against Kerber. I saw her press conference today, and she was saying that in the beginning it was tough because she felt she would just touch the ball and the ball would fly. So what she started to think about was adding more spin to the ball, putting more rotation on the ball, which is going to allow the ball to go over that net and then dive bomb into the court. So on days to where this wind is coming this way at you on this side, you might have to put more spin. Now, once you go to the other side, guess what? Now you might be able to flatten out the ball a little more. So having that feel and going, okay, on one side I'm going to put more spin on the ball. On the other side, I'm going to be able to hit through the ball more. Then again, that's helping you really play about as good as you can play on an ugly day. The other thing I want you to think about too with the wind is it could be moving this way or that way, or sometimes it's kind of swirling all around. And so if it's moving this way at you, be ready for when the ball might bounce and it might kick into you if you're on this side in a forehand. If it's coming that way, then the ball might bounce away from you. So being able to not be shocked by how the ball bounces when it hits the ground is another thing. Being able to anticipate how it might bounce based off of how the wind is playing that day is also very important. I think that when you're also playing in the wind, that playing with margins is good, especially if it's moving this way and that way. You could hit a ball that's, you know, on a normal day, gonna go right in the corner, and then that wind pushes it out at the last second. So really realizing which way the wind is blowing and then playing with margins to make sure that the ball's still gonna go in, even if you hit a good shot, right? It can still go out on a windy day. So you gotta figure out how much do I need to draw it back in towards the middle of the court so that this ball is still gonna land in the court. So shrinking down the court is a good idea. And so there you go, guys. That's a lot of good tips on how to go out there and play in the wind. And probably the best tip I gave you was the #1 tip in the beginning, was be ready for maybe not the prettiest tennis. The more you can get your mind right and realize that you're gonna have all these challenges that day, and it's not gonna be the prettiest tennis, well, you're gonna play about as good as you can play, and you'll most likely win that match against your competitor, considering that all things are even. So hopefully you like this video, guys. If you like this video, you know what I want you to do right now? Pop those thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a like. That actually makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. I made a video and you go, you know what? I like that video. Thank you. I think that's going to help my tennis game. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to use that today because it's kind of windy. Comment. Let me know if do you have any other questions? Was there anything in this video that I did not address about playing in the wind that you have a question about? I will answer it in the comments, or maybe I'll even make a follow-up video if it's like a really good point that I did not hit on. Subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my future videos. And also in the comment section, if you have this video was inspired by one of my members who talked about playing the wind, and I thought, I never did a video on the wind. So if there is a topic that you would really like me to cover that you're like, Pete, you haven't covered this yet, and I don't see anybody else out there in tennis covering it, and it's a really big deal to me, well, let me know what it is, and I'll probably do it for you. That's right. So until next video, guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate your support. Go out there, continue your passion that you have for the game. It really inspires me, and we'll talk soon.